Welcome back, crime fighters. It's time for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us by working together here. We appreciate the information that you share with us, and we try to share some information with you every week, just all working together to make the community as good as it can be. And this week you helped us find 4 more individuals, bringing our grand total to 4,337 arrests since we started this show from the folks that have been on this lineup. And we'll have a fresh lineup for you here in just a little bit with some more individuals that we need your help finding. I want to give you a quick reminder though, this week is National Clean Off Your Computer Week. And that can be a good thing as far as productivity is concerned, getting things cleaned up on your computer, make it easier to find the things that you need and clean up some space there so you got more storage space and your computer works more efficiently. It can also be a safety issue for your personal data. If you've got some things on your computer that you don't want somebody else knowing about, this would be a good time to find those items and maybe delete them, get them off that computer, or put them in a secure folder so that people cannot easily access those if they get access to your computer. We all use our computer for lots of things, travel plans and whatnot. You may have some things on there that you forgot you ever put there. So take a look at your computer this week and see what you can clean out to make your computer better and your information safer. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, let's get started with this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. If you recognize somebody in this video and know where they can be found, please contact Calhoun County Crime Stoppers. You could get a cash reward of up to $1,000, and we need your information, not your name. We're starting off this week with Johnny Bush Harris of Anniston, wanted on a bond revocation for theft of property, 2nd degree. Sandra Addison of Anniston, wanted for failure to pay for theft of property, 1st degree. Aquarius Garrett of Talladega, wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana, 2nd degree. Jenny Lee from Ohatchee, wanted for the unauthorized use of a vehicle. Richard Burgess of Jacksonville, wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of a controlled substance, use and possession of drug paraphernalia, and promoting prison contraband. And Cherish Catlett of Anniston, wanted on bond revocation for possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana, 2nd, and failure to appear for both of those charges as well. We'll have more individuals coming up in just a few minutes. All right, it's time to welcome this week's guests onto Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And from Jacksonville State University, we have Robin Snyder and Dr. Maureen Newton. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank
Go Gamecocks.
That's
Go
right,
Gamecocks.
absolutely. Fear the beak.
Yeah, got some good basketball action going on right now, and looking forward to another good football season when that rolls around.
Yes.
Good things going on at JSU. And one of the good things that's going to be going on again here soon is this mental health conference that we've been doing. How long have we been doing this now?
This is the 38th annual conference.
Wow.
Yes.
38 years.
Yes.
So a lot of good has happened in 38 years, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're happy to talk about this. It's going to take place on March 1st, and typically this conference takes place at JSU. But since we're still in the recovery mode from the tornado, we have moved the location for this year to the Oxford Civic Center. So we were able to secure that location. So the conference will be on a Friday, March 1st, and registration is 7:30 to 8:30. And beginning at 8:30, we'll have a number of speakers throughout the day.
So what is this conference and who is it for? I mean, we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Is this something that members of the general public would come to, or is it just for people who work in the mental health fields? Or
Some of both. It is sponsored by the social work program at JSU, which just celebrated 30 years of an undergraduate degree, and we've just started a master's degree. Dr. Newton's going to talk about that a little later. So it's primarily for social workers and other mental health professionals. Everyone is invited. I'll give you the registration site a little bit later, and so folks who are interested can go there and register. So we welcome everyone. We do give continuing education credits to social workers. And would you like to know some of the topics?
Sure,
Okay,
absolutely.
Okay. One of the things that's happening in social work is we know that trauma that both kids and adults face determines outcomes. And so we're looking at a lot of trauma-informed care. So we are reshaping the way that we're providing mental health services based on what folks have been through. We know a lot about PTSD and other things with veterans, and now we're learning that children, when they have traumatic events happen to them, it shapes the way that they grow up and the way that they view the world. And so one of the speakers we're having is Sonia Martin, who will talk about trauma-informed care. And she's a social worker with a lot of training, and she's also an adoptive and foster mom. So she doesn't just know it from an educational and professional standpoint, she knows it from a mom standpoint. And so she's a great speaker. We're very excited that we were able to get her for part of this day. And she's going to talk about how to intervene with lying, cheating, and stealing behaviors.
Fun topics. We get popcorn to go with this?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's important. If somebody came to the first conference 37 years ago and learned every item of information that was available on that day, today they're still way out of touch.
Yes and no. I mean, a lot of things that we know about human behavior and social work, some of those things are still in place even after all these years. But as you know, and I'll talk in a minute about, we're going to talk about the opioid crisis. That, of course, is new. So while some things have remained the same, there are some changes. And as professionals, we want to be prudent, and we want to stay in touch and stay on top of the newest things that we can learn from research and other people who are really smart.
And of course, legislation changes, and the way you're required to do your job changes, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of what mental health practitioners do has to do with what we're trained to do and what the legislation says we can do, and then ultimately what the client wants us to do and the healthcare providers want us to do. And that's always evolving, and I think it's exciting to see more about evidence-based practices and not just kind of guessing what we think might work with individuals, but what we think we have evidence that does work.
It all comes back down to that person. Each person is different, and you want to have as many different tools to choose from for each instance, don't you?
Right. And we want to individualize our work. We don't want to assume that every person of a certain age or in a certain situation needs to be dealt with the same way. So as social workers, we strive really hard to look at that person and their environment and determine what they need and how we can best help.
You know, one of the things I always get the most out of conferences that I go to is just a refreshing of myself mentally, seeing other people that are facing some of the same problems that I have to deal with at work, and seeing how they deal with it and knowing, hey, I'm not by myself on this.
Right.
That's a big part of the conference. So a lot of folks think, wow, social work or mental health, it must be challenging, it must be depressing. But we do it because we love it, and when we get together, we love sharing our experiences, our challenges, our successes, and what the future may hold. We have a lot of JSU alum come back to these conferences and get to see each other that have graduated 10 years ago or 20 years ago, from social work, from counseling, from a lot of different areas. It's a nice way to have networking and affordable conference for folks to come and attend, and we love to see our former students and see how well they're doing and what success they're having in our community, making the world a better place.
Right. So this conference again is going to be at the Oxford Civic Center this year because of the work that's being done at JSU recovering from the tornado still.
Correct.
What's the date again? March
1st.
March the 1st. So go ahead and put that on your calendars, folks. March the 1st at Oxford Civic Center for this mental health conference. And we'll have some details on where you can find more information about that here in just a little bit on the program. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, now it's time for the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Willie Trammell of Anniston is wanted for probation violation for felony domestic violence, 3rd degree. Alexis Locke of Rainbow City wanted on a domestic violence 3rd degree assault charge. Star Malouf of Piedmont wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. Charles Seals of Winona, Mississippi, wanted on a failure to appear warrant for assault second degree. Nicole Holcomb of Anniston, wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. Again, if you have any information, please contact Calhoun County Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414. We will have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show here in just a few minutes. We'll talk about some unsolved crimes. Hopefully you can help us solve those. We don't need your name, just your information, and you could get a cash reward of up to $1,000 for helping us out. We're joined by Robin Snyder and Dr. Maureen Newton from Jacksonville State University. We've been talking about the mental health conference, and we'll circle back to that here in just a few minutes. But Dr. Newton, let's talk about JSU, not just rebuilding, but building. Obviously, we know that there's a lot of rebuilding going on after the tornado, but there's also some brand new things that are happening at JSU and within your department.
Yes, within the School of Human Services and Social Sciences, you know, you mentioned earlier about making the community a better place, and that's really the focus of the majors in this school. So we have 2 new degree programs. We have a master's degree in social work that has opened, and we're in our first cohort is expected to graduate in May, and we have a new undergraduate degree in forensic investigations that we're very excited about. And so with them, in addition to emergency management and political science and psychology, we're just really excited about the things that we have to offer students and the improvements that we're going to make within the community once these students graduate and get out there in the workforce.
You know, I love seeing how many of our young students are very interested in the social work, and they know chances of them getting rich in social work, not that great. I'm sure it happens for a few people.
Right.
But for the most part, it's not. And I would love to see social workers rewarded a little bit more for their work monetarily as well as the other ways. But there are a lot of people in our community who really have a heart to go and learn and to take that knowledge back home and make a difference in lives one-on-one.
Right. Well, most of the departments in our school have to do with public service and understanding how the world works and trying to make the world a better place. In fact, if you think about sociology, it's helping you to understand the big picture of the world and what's going on with different groups, whether it has to do with minority functioning or gender issues, discrimination, all of those types of things. And so not only can students major in social work or sociology or political science, but they can also minor in it. If you think about wanting to major in business administration, but you want to have a better understanding of what's going on out in the world, you can minor in sociology, you can minor in political science. So that's one of the exciting things that the college education offers students, is they don't have to have a narrow focus in their education, that there's a lot of things that they can do to help them, you know, just be a better citizen.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things that they learn there are probably quite often things that we think are common sense, but when you actually look at the real data and see what's happening, a lot of what we think is common sense isn't actually true, isn't it?
It's a complicated society that we live in, and it's a global society, and we know we're affected economically, we know we're affected politically, we know we are affected socially, and so it's important for young folks to have a good understanding of how the world is working so that they can help shape it the way they want it to be.
Absolutely. Change is going to happen whether we like it or not. There's going to be a lot of different things going on, and the best you can do is understand it, and when you understand other people, what better knowledge is there than understanding the people around you?
Absolutely, and having passionate faculty who really want to help the students be successful. At JSU, you know, we're really interested in getting to know our students. You know, we have reasonably sized classrooms, and so you have a real opportunity to make a difference with your students, and your students make a difference on you, and it's just a real nice environment, I think, for higher education.
What is the feeling on campus right now at JSU? I know a year ago, the unexpected happened and almost everything changed. What's it like on campus today?
Well, it's still a process of change, and I think probably things don't happen as quickly as we would like them to happen. But I know that we are all very thankful that there were no serious injuries, especially deaths, as a result of the tornado. And so we're thankful.
Absolute miracle.
It was a miracle. Right now, everybody's excited about our new health and fitness center that we have, and I've seen a lot of use. I need to get more use out of that. And we're looking forward to new construction to replace some of the buildings that were permanently damaged and making improvements all across campus.
It really is a time of opportunity, isn't it? When you see destruction, that's obviously a lot of bad there, but once you start looking at a little bit of a clean slate in some areas, you see some opportunities too.
Absolutely.
And the community's been very supportive, as evidenced by us being able to move our conference to Oxford Civic Center, since we can't have it on campus. So we really appreciate the community support.
All right, we've got just a moment here. Let's remind everybody about that conference and how they can get involved.
March 1st, Oxford Civic Center, trauma-informed care, dealing with the opioid crisis, legislative advocacy by social workers, knowing what or believing what we think needs to happen and working with our legislators. It's an all-day conference offering continuing education. Everyone's invited. Go on the website and register.
A lot of professionals will be there, but if somebody just wants to know, they're welcome.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, well, ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Go Gamecocks.
it. Go Gamecocks.
We will be back in just a moment. We'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and our Crazy Criminal of the Week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And now it's time for the Crime Stoppers segment of the show. Let's see if you can help us solve any of these crimes. Between February 1st and 4th, the local residents received notice that a computer component was being shipped to her home. She had not ordered anything, so she contacted the company and found out that an account had been opened in her name. She ran a credit report and found that within a week's time, numerous accounts had been opened in her name, including orders which were placed and items shipped to various places. She quickly filed a fraud alert on her personal information with the consumer reporting companies, which froze all future inquiries to her personal information. The credit card companies are working with her to clear her credit history of these fraudulent accounts. On February 6th, an unknown person entered a residence on Laurel Trace in Anniston. A set of keys was found to be missing. Between December 28th and February 8th, someone entered a residence on Merrill Harper Road in Anniston. Various type tools were stolen, along with copper tubing, a hospital-type bed, and a 12-foot folding ladder. And on February 9th, a game camera was reported stolen from a residence on Eastwood Drive in Anniston. If you have any information about these cases or any others, please contact Calhoun County Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414. You could get a cash reward of up to $1,000, and we want your information, not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, our crazy criminal this week was actually a very lucky lady in Canada. She bought a scratch-off lottery card and won $38,000 on this scratch-off card. Congratulations. The problem is she purchased this lottery card with a stolen credit card. So the credit card was logged in, police noticed where it was used, and they saw that it had been used to win a lottery ticket, and yeah, they were there when she went to claim her winnings. So instead of picking up $38,000, she picked up some handcuffs that were placed behind her back. And you know, that's the problem when you're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. If something good happens, quite often you don't get to take advantage of it. If something bad happens, the protection isn't there for you. You know? If she'd lost, it's not good. Just don't be stealing credit cards from people or anything else. All right, behave yourselves, or you might end up on this program either in the lineup or even worse here at the end on the Crazy Criminal of the Week. It's not a place that you want to be. We do thank everybody for tuning in and helping us out. Again, 4 more people found this past week, thanks to you. If you missed this week's lineup, you can watch this show online at tv24.tv. You can go to the on-demand section there and see any episode you want to of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Or you can also find us on Facebook for the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office and see the weekly lineup and the Crime Stoppers videos there. That's all the time we have for this week. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.